This is Changing Channels with Larry Walsh, the Channelnomics podcast that connects you with channel chiefs, thought leaders, and executives about what it takes to get the next generation of tech to market. Here's your host, Larry Walsh, the CEO and Chief Analyst of Channelnomics.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Changing Channels. As the lady says, I'm Larry Walsh, and today we're here to talk about the impact of the more fluid workforces on how businesses consume and purchase technology. So mobile devices, persistent high-speed internet, and cloud-based applications make working from anywhere relatively easy. Over the last 2 years, pandemic conditions have necessitated flexibility and fluid work arrangements. While the world adjusted, we've tested, stressed, and adapted collaborating in ways we didn't think possible before 2020. The current and future world is fluid. It's not about working from home or working from anywhere, but how we enable teams and individuals, suppliers and manufacturers, ideators and creators to remain connected and productive. Collaborators, whether in huddle rooms or across multiple time zones, is the name of the game. Now more than ever, businesses need strong communications and productivity systems. People want and need the means to communicate, share, and produce without friction. And the world is not going backwards, so the challenge is to build and evolve on the lessons of the last 2 years. A company that's putting the fluid collaboration and productivity vision at the forefront of what it does is Google and its Google Workspace service. Designed for flexible collaboration, Google Workspace offers solutions that bear everyone in mind during this transitory time. And everyone does mean everyone, the individual, the IT manager, the business itself. Google Workspace is crafted to people so people can remain linked securely and on the same schedule. Google Workspace is a supporter of cloud research being conducted by Channelnomics through our partnership with Ingram Micro Cloud, which is why we invited them here to share their thoughts on enabling collaboration in the age of fluid work. And joining us on this episode of Changing Channels is Sandeep Gupta, the lead of strategic partnerships at Google Cloud. So with that, welcome to Changing Channels, Sandeep.
Thank you, Larry. Long-time listener, first time actually getting a chance to talk to you.
You are the first one to ever say that. So you're going to go into the record book for that one. So let's talk, because this is something that we are tracking very, very closely at Channelnomics, because we do believe in the vision that we share the vision that Google has about more of a not thinking about working from home or even hybrid work, but more about being more fluid. This is about being able to reach out and touch people where they are. But before we get into the meat of our conversation, share with us a little bit of what is Google's perspective? What is a fluid workforce from the Google perspective, and what does it mean for businesses and individuals?
So, yeah, that's a great question, Larry. I think being fluid is something that companies, organizations, Google, we're adapting to. We don't quite know what the right solution is. And the answer is that it varies, right? It can be in the office, it can be at home, somewhere in between. Doing it safely, of course, and making sure that the employees have everything that they need to be productive, to be safe, and just to bring their best ideas forward and being able to contribute in the same way as before we were in this predicament.
Yeah, I like the way you said that, I mean, about a predicament, because it does kind of feel that way. Is that a lot of us are still trying to figure out what the future really should hold for us for work. But the one thing that I think we've all adapted to is that we're very much accustomed to being able to just connect with people on demand in multiple mediums. I jokingly say that I just got off the phone with someone when I'm not actually on a phone. I am on one of these collaboration platforms where we're doing a video chat, or we're sending messages, or we're sharing files. I mean, it really did change the nature of the way we even think or communicate.
It totally did. And, I want to speak to, we talked a little bit about like being physically somewhere, home, work. I'm going to go ahead and say that even within the boundaries of my home, I'm very flexible. Right, right now I'm getting a chance to speak to you from my dining room table, and earlier this morning I was at my office, and later this afternoon I'll be in my son's play area. So it really it's very dynamic. But to your point, though, Larry, we are we're learning this together. And one of the things that we are realizing about ourselves and our habits, rather, and our, our behavioral patterns is we need that connectedness. We need to feel like if I need to get a hold of you or my team at work, I can do that via my phone, via my PC machine, anything in between, and that's phone call and video chat, voice call, you name it, right? And so it's definitely teaching us a lot, and it's definitely changing the way that we work, and that's the one common theme here. It's changing the way that we're used to working.
Yeah, I do have a quick question. I've been to the Googleplex a few times in California, and it's a fabulous campus. And I've also been to the facilities in Manhattan, which is just a few miles from where our office is. Um, I am curious though, did you bring a scooter home with you just so you'd feel like you like normal in the office?
No, I did not. I definitely miss the environment that creates, and the environment is really one centered around collaboration and but no, I did not. I guess I have my bikes at home. If I ever feel like I'm missing the office, I'll go take it out for a quick spin. But
Yeah.
that's good observation, Larry. And I hope you didn't steal the scooter when you were last there.
Strangely enough, is that when I do visit Google's offices, they don't leave me alone. So there's no opportunity there. I can guarantee. The one thing that Google did do in developing Workspace in this entire collaborative point of view is really think about the individual, and not only the individual but multiple personas. Um, can you talk a little bit about what it meant for Google to design when it says keeping everyone in mind? What is that design process and that design, those guiding principles behind that everyone in mind point of view came from?
Yeah, our guiding principles for anything design is really designed for everyone, right? That is one of our, our core pillars when we think about any product design, right? And so we are very obsessed with our users. We want to serve them. And when I mean user, I mean, the student that's behind a Chromebook in a classroom setting or in their home, to our educators that are having the tough challenge of delivering content in a normal classroom experience, to our IT administrators that are helping us scale our products in those environments, small businesses that are near and dear to our hearts that are really having to come up with an IT strategy and IT infrastructure almost overnight. And then obviously our enterprise partners and our customers that are really kind of the leaders in helping us to evolve what work really means, and what it will mean today and tomorrow and 10 years from now. So it's all of those users, and there's no one product fits all, and that's the challenge that I get to wake up to every day. How do I make sure that every user that I get the chance to work with is satisfied, and not just like baseline satisfaction, but like how do I predict what usages they're going to have and create around that? And that's really what the magic of Google Cloud is, and Google for that matter, just being really dialed into those various personas as you called out.
Yeah. So one of the things I actually had the opportunity of taking some classes with Clayton Christensen before he died a couple of years ago. And for those of you who know, Clayton Christensen is one who wrote the famous book, The Innovator's Dilemma, talking about how technology development or product development ultimately exceeds the customer's expectations or the ability to use. Um, it makes me wonder, and hearing you talk about this though, we've all adapted to this, but there's still a lot of businesses and users out there that really don't understand the full power of the collaboration tools that are at their disposal. What do you find that businesses are still trying to feel their way through, or they're still are they discovering things that they don't know?
Absolutely. We have a challenge that we learn about every single day. And that is we always have waves of users, waves of small businesses and businesses that really haven't had any reason to have an IT strategy to think of one overnight. And the challenge is they don't know about various products and what their options are. They don't know who to go to. They don't have a trusted advisor, right? And so part of being on the cloud team, even though we're really generating a lot of products that are out there, we're not trying to flood the market. We're trying to solve for various different users, right, and their pain points. And this is why Google Cloud specifically is so partner driven, because we can't do this without our partners. We need to rely on them to help us achieve scale, and that's super important to remember here. And that's why, the partnership that we have with Ingram Micro, and other distributors globally is so important to us, because we need their their network, their framework to help us scale.
No. It's good to hear you say that about the role that your partners play in bringing these tools to the end customer. Um, what is it that what is it do you see as the partner's role in that delivery? Are they just a facilitator of the transaction, or is there a greater role for them in helping the customer consume you and maximize you more?
I mean, the biggest part is really education, right? It begins with education. It begins with allowing um, allowing their end customers, whether they're existing, or potentially net new, really know what their options are. It's about building trust via that education. It's about making sure that just because you select a path forward for your organization, that they are there with you every step of the way. So it's really, um, it's not like a simple, transact and move on to the next, because the reality is there's always going to be questions that our end users are going to be asking us. And whether that's related to the product, whether that's related to, hey, well, I just figured out how to use this to its full capacity, how do I optimize, right? Those are conversations that we love to be involved in, right? Because now what we have is we went from an end user or an organization that wasn't too familiar with our products to someone who is actively engaging and utilizing our products, to they want more, and they are the ones that are really accelerating us to think about the next wave or the next generation of what it is that we want to design with in mind. And so it's super important that the role that all of our partners play, everyone brings um, something a little bit different, but they all cohesively bring back a lot of feedback. They're helping us navigate our end users, which we can't touch all at once, but with the help of our partner community, absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lot of competition for mind share, for wallet share amongst partners as well as customers. I mean, there's still a lot of greenfield out there. Our State of the US Channel Cloud research tells us that, in which I should also offer that Google is an underwriter of, and so we appreciate your support on this. But one of the things that we found is, well, productivity applications sold by partners, cloud-based productivity, is in the high 90s. 90% of them, close to 97% of partners are selling some form of productivity service. Collaboration is still just above the 50% mark. Means there's a lot of white space out there still to go, but there's also a lot of competition. What is Google doing to stand out, to get partners' attention, to come and collaborate with you in the way that you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of choice. So let's just recognize that, and users, organizations have all the choices in front of them. It's really about what works best for them, right? And the way that we at Google Cloud are trying to differentiate ourselves is really around simplicity, ease of use, scalability, manageability, right? These are a couple of the strong pillars that really resonate, regardless of the type of product that we offer. with our partners, because partners want to be able to take that message, take it to their customers, um, help to not to educate them as fast as possible, but then also to really maximize their engagements, right? That's what we want, and then for them to take that goodness onto their their net new or their other existing book of business. And that's something really that we pride ourselves on, is regardless of the complexity of product, we have to design for simplicity. And if you don't hit that mark, then you are just another option on the table for our end users to navigate and try and figure out. So that's our strength, and really making it intuitive, making it easy to engage with the product and to learn things that their partners might not be get a chance to tell them, right? So and that's really really important. It's a design principle, and we try and measure how often our end users are logging in daily, and that's really our North Star. Just keeping users on our platform, coming back, engaging further, and so we keep all of that in mind.
Yeah. Simple is so hard though. And people sometimes mistake simple as being simplistic. Where oftentimes my perspective is that our job really should be is to mask complexity with simplicity, so that it seems making the complex just feel simple. But behind the scenes, there's a whole lot of complexity here, particularly in the security aspects of what Google Cloud delivers to its partners and its customers. How is Google securing all this collaboration and communications we're talking about?
Yeah, for one, I just want to baseline on, all of the data that an end user creates. It is their data. They own it. We don't own it, right? They and the organization in which they sit in fully control that data, where you house that data, how it's housed, how it's archived. So these are very strict policies that we take very seriously, and every user in every geo that we operate in has that flexibility. It is their responsibility to really make sure that they know where their data is, and recognize that Google is doing our absolute best not to take their data and use it for other purposes, but to as a paid user, um, manage and own their data. So again, to your point about, there's a lot of complexity behind the scenes on how to make that possible. But the simplistic view that our end users see is that, with a few clicks here and a few clicks there, and with the help of their IT administrators, which have full access to Google support and Google partners, etc., they will have all of the education and resources needed to help make their decisions, and to house their data in the way that they are comfortable with, and that's super important to us.
Yeah. So we've talked about the world being more fluid. It's changed the way I've worked. It changed the way Google and you have worked. Um, and it's changed in the customer's needs. But I can tell you that the partner community still struggles with a lot of this. They are very much steep in the things that they've been doing for a while. They have their install bases, they have the customers they've been supporting for years. They may not always have the ability to make even a gradual change. So do you find that when we're talking about fluid workforces and fluid work environments, that these collaboration tools are actually catalysts for helping to evolve partners?
Absolutely. I think it's super interesting um, when you look at barrier to entry, and you look at size of an organization. Complexity increases as that size increases, right? The size of that organization increases. So, and this is what leads to a lot of negotiations, leads to a lot of back and forth, and change management takes more time than you'd like it to. But the one thing that I want to recognize here is that consumption that we do in our personal lives directly impacts what we want our enterprise environment to be, right? So if I wake up and I have the power to check my personal email on my phone, listen to some music on my commute to work or the jog that I take, have access to my calendar seamlessly on my smartwatch, etc. We want similar experiences in a work setting, right? Again, whether that's at home or whether that's actually in the office, we want that seamlessness to follow us, right? Because ultimately, we want to streamline how we work so that we can be as efficient as possible. Going back to your question, the catalyst for change and the collaboration space in general, and our workspace offering, those are that's one of change because it's designed with seamlessness and connectedness in mind, right? The idea that you are never too far from a document that you're working on and you have an idea or a note to drop in, you can do that seamlessly on your PC, seamlessly from your phone, and that's the crossover between consumer and consumption and enterprise, and the behavior change that we want to see in our work environment. So absolutely, right? That our workspace portfolio is really designed for that seamlessness, that connectedness. It's a cloud platform. You don't actually install anything on your machine or your phone. You're always connected to your cloud. Your data is in the cloud. So if you make an edit, say on a Word doc that or a presentation that Larry, you and I are working on, you see it right away, and you can make an edit, and I'll see it right away, right? And by the way, we can both be in there at the same time and not lock each other out of whatever respective document that we're trying to create. And that's really the power of the connectedness to the cloud and our platform, and that really helps to accelerate businesses. In the same way, we take advantage of it in our as consumers, and that's really what's enabling a lot of these organizations to make decisions faster, to be able to um, spend less time waiting and just have more connection to the work that they're actually doing, and it's better for everyone involved. And overall ROI, we have a strong correlation that workspace leads to a stronger ROI and revenue for that organization and that business. So we're proud of that.
Right.
And when you're a CIO or an IT administrator and you're getting results and you're not having to be buried in managing the scaling up of your organization from a collaboration perspective, that's music to your ears. And that's when we look at our product team and we look at our partners and we say, okay, we're on to something here. And that's really what motivates us.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I so let's think about the partner who woke up this morning, heard about Google for the first time. My first question to them is, where have you been for the last 20 years? But let's just say that they're now looking at you saying, look, we need this collaboration. We need to have this ability to enable communications and keep our customers securely talking and working with each other. How do I get started?
Yeah, I mean, one, I'll point you to our Google Cloud, our website, where you can learn a lot about our products, as little or as much as you'd like. And that's really important to get educated on, really making sure that you, as an end user, are really locked in to what you need, right? So there's that. We have a very large partner community, everyone from the resellers to our distributors. Reach out to them, right? Reach out to your IT administrator. I'm fairly certain they know where to go. And so that's the best place to start.
Yeah.
And if you want to connect with Google, we have our Twitter handle, our LinkedIn handles, and we're easily accessible.
Yeah, I'm sure we could just Google it.
You could do that too. I didn't think about that on there.
All right, very good. So I do want to mention that, again, Google Cloud has been a generous supporter, underwriting research that Channelnomics does on cloud channel trends. We have our State of the U.S. Cloud Channel report that came out a couple of months ago. We also, Google, along with Ingram Micro Cloud and Microsoft, also support the tools that we produce for enabling partners in building better cloud practices like Cloud Altimeter and Blueprint, both available through Ingram Micro Cloud. And we have more stuff coming in your direction, but this has been a tremendous addition to the body of work that we're doing to help make the the cloud channel a better and more productive arm of the greater channel. So with that, Sandeep Gupta, the lead of strategic partnerships at Google Cloud, I really appreciate you being here on Changing Channels.
Thank you, Larry, and thanks for having us.
I'm glad you were here, and thank you again for your support. And thank you all again for joining into Changing Channels. As I always say, technology is changing the world and the way we sell and support technology. And we'll keep exploring these evolutionary issues here on Changing Channels. Until the next time, I'm Larry Walsh.
Thank you for joining Changing Channels with Larry Walsh, a production of Channelnomics, with the support of our production team at Modern Podcasting. If you've enjoyed today's episode, hit the like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and share with your friends. For more information about Channelnomics services and insights, follow us on Twitter and YouTube, and check out our website at channelnomics.com. Channelnomics is a registered trademark of, and Changing Channels is copyright by 2112 Enterprises, LLC.